Good morning. Welcome to the top of the morning show, ladies and gentlemen. We are doing this show live as we are on the go. This weekend is a full, amazing weekend for TT from the D. And so I just said, okay, I got to make sure I get this done. So today kicks off a beautiful weekend in advance. And I'm going to tell you why I say in advance, because we don't know what the weather's going to look like. Now, right? We are always looking forward to the sunshine and the beautiful blue skies. But what happens when we get the rain, the gray skies, the storms? And here in the D, we recently started experiencing what our Canadian family and friends have been dealing with over in Canada. The air quality, according to the data and the news and sources, has gotten really poor here in Detroit because all of that polluted air has started traveling across the water. And there's nothing, it's not like we have a fence. We don't have a river fence, an ocean fence. We don't have, let's put up the walls between Michigan and Canada because they're having some issues with the wildfire debris and all that pollution coming over. You can't determine what air we're going to breathe in and what we can't. What I will tell you is that it's amazing to be able to see it. We don't know what the air quality looks like on a daily basis. So to read for the last couple of days that the poor air quality is really, really bad, like they said, we are number 4 on the list of having the worst air quality right now. That doesn't make us happy. But I'm thinking, like, how do we know? How does the world know? You know, there's so much that goes on, and that's a whole nother topic that we don't see. And a lot of times, prime example, and this is current news, not old news, and it ain't fake news, the current news. But I was so disappointed. I was sad when I was learning about the 5 people that was on that submarine that passed away, that just disappeared. And they said that they presumed them to be dead after such a allotted amount of time. But I tell you what was more sickening and more sad is that the media didn't care to tell us about what they're saying, 700 lives that was on that cruise ship that was going from one place to another that sank. I don't know if they didn't tell us about it because allegedly, and I'm going to say allegedly, they're trying to blame it on the Coast Guard, saying that they didn't try to help them and this, that, and we don't know. I don't know. We don't know. But what I do know we all can agree on is that there was no coverage. Just because those people were from other countries does not mean that they didn't have and don't have family, relatives, friends that live in the United States that are concerned and would want to be having the world to pray for them as well as the 5 people that was presumed to have perished upon explosion of their submarine. Now, mind you, I'm like, how do we not know about 700 lives, but we only know about 5? Because the media chooses what they want to put out. Is it because they were millionaires and rich, paid $250,000 per passenger to get on this expensive submarine that exploded? According to the data and the people that's been testifying, giving their testimony, I should say, via news or radio or whoever will listen, that said, they're trying to stuff on this one. People are saying, we told them that it wasn't ready to go. It wasn't quite ready to go. And we asked them, like, just wait, don't. And they were no, it's ready. And, you know, the people that said, no, it's ready, anybody that went against the people who said it's not ready, that's still here on this earth, have to rest with that in their spirit every day. Because if they were on the team of saying, you know what, yeah, no, it wasn't really ready to go, but we're going to go ahead and take a chance. That's a lot. That's a lot to carry, I believe, in your spirit. That's a lot to carry in your spirit, to know that you are part of a team or a group of people that said, hey, it may not be 100%, but I think it's good enough. No. You need that thing, something like that, in my opinion, to be over 100% approved. You're going down to the floor of the ocean, right? To go and look for something that has sank hundreds and hundreds of years ago, right? And yeah, for some will be like, oh my God, this is such an experience. Yes, it was, but now we'll never know. We'll never know. Those stories that folks looked upon to say, I can't wait till y'all come back to tell us what that was like. Unfortunately, we will never know. And unfortunately for those 5 people, their family, their friends, their loved ones, their co-workers, they grieve. They're grieving. They have the opportunities to pray within the couple of days that they didn't know what was going on. But I'm going back to, what about the 700 folks? Men, women, children that was on that cruise ship that sank. It sank with 700 allegedly. And I think from what I hear, and I don't have strong data, so don't quote me on this, they were able to get or rescue 100 or maybe over a little of 100 people from the ocean. But we didn't have no knowledge of it, y'all. And that's scary, because that just lets you know the media is going to share with us what they want us to know, what they think we need to know, or what's allowed to be shared. Because let's be clear, a journalist can come in with a story and they could have first-hand information. There's still people, and let's be clear, before we start passing judgment on the individual journalist, they have to get clearance. See, with podcasters, we don't. Do we have to worry about people shutting our show down because we got that real news? Probably. But we're doing it for the people. We're not doing it for numbers. So, no matter where you are in the world, because I have listeners across the globe, my heart goes out to those of you that are in other places that's outside of the U.S. that don't get any type of coverage. Like, we don't have the opportunity to pray for you or to know about what you're dealing with, your battles, whether they're big or they're small. We all want to be heard. We all want to be loved and appreciated and cared for, right? And for those of us that are believers, we all want people to pray for us and with us, to come into agreement and touch and agree with us that things will get better for us, for whatever the circumstances in which we live on a day-to-day basis in whatever country. The U.S. ain't the best in the world. It's not. I'm sure it's not. But we've been groomed, and we've been propped and prided, and we've been prepped, all the P words, right, to put it on the map, the land of the free. But is it? Because we still got shit we deal with over here in the United States, right? I'm learning about different histories from other cultures, as well as the African-American culture. I'm a black African-American woman according to the world, but I'm a woman before anything. My body parts show and prove that I'm a woman. It don't have nothing to do with color. If I was wrapped up, and I said this before, if I was wrapped up in bandages and all you could determine was the sex of who I was, you would care for me the way you're supposed to care for me. You wouldn't say, well, she's black, or her pigmentation shows that she may be of another ethnicity group, whether that's brown or black, right? You wouldn't be able to tell the texture of my hair, right? And if I had eye bandages, you couldn't tell the color of my eyeballs. You would just know that I was a woman, and that you were going to help get this woman nursed back to the best shape you can, because I'm a woman. And the same for a man. So imagine if we lived in a country, a city, a state, a community where we were just seen as who we are, men, women, boys, and girls. Imagine how life would be if we really couldn't see like a baby. A child doesn't see color for a while. So everything, according to data and research, everything is black and white to them. So they don't have the opportunity to like someone because of the color of their skin, and they don't even understand a language just yet. They're taught. So everything we're taught, y'all, is a learned behavior, learned patterns, whatever that looks like. And if you take that into consideration, a lot of the hatred that we display, we share, or we don't know why we have it really. When we were taught, we were raised with it. It's because it was taught to us. We saw it. You know, you live in a certain community, you drive a certain type of car, you go to a certain type of school, you dress a certain way, and you are judged. And I don't mean to get heavy on this Friday morning, but thank God it is Friday. But I'm just telling you, you know, in a day that is a new day, I hope that we can look at life and just say, I'm grateful for being amongst the living. I'm grateful for the skin that covers my bones, the organs that function inside my body, the limbs that are active, whether you feel a little pain and discomfort or not. Be grateful. Be grateful, because there's someone that doesn't have the same opportunity as you. And unfortunately, for some of those people that do not, it's not because they don't want to have the same opportunity as you or I. It's because of their skin color, pigmentation, eye color, hair texture, neighborhood they grew up in, neighborhood they live in, type of car they drive, that they're not accepted, that they're not respected, that they're not appreciated by people, right? I'm sorry. I want to gather myself. This is a positive segment, of course, but I want to just remind you that we live in a world where we're privy to what we're privy to. It's just like working at work. You can work with a big department, a big team. There's certain groups, management, under management, leadership, you know, it goes on and on, administrators. We're privy to certain type of levels of information depending on the group we belong in. You know that's fact. So when you think about what we learn every day by watching social media or listening to podcasts or listening to news, for some that's under regulations and they have to adhere to certain regulations, you're going to hear what they say you can hear. You're going to see what they approved for you to see. Because let's be clear, there's a lot of stuff we do see, unfortunately, we shouldn't be seeing. We shouldn't be able to turn on social media and see someone getting murdered in the street like an animal. And an animal shouldn't even be murdered in the street, but we see it, right? And sometimes the people that monitor, which is funny as hell to me, the people that monitor our social media pages, I don't know the people that don't catch that type of shit, why you still have a job. But again, if we need to create fear and pandemonium and negative energy and vibes, I know why you got your job. They're gonna let you stay right there because they need you. But for the people that's actually catching the stuff, some stuff you thinking like, what is that to catch? I don't know what your job is. We can't have too much positivity out there now. We gotta balance it out. I can imagine that. We can't just report all good stuff now. Nobody's gonna want to hear that. Nobody's gonna want to click on our social media page if we're always boasting about the positive things in life. We gotta have some negative shit out there now. Come on now, because our ratings won't be good. And it's funny because it's like, okay, I'm right by the police, and I just already was talking about things, but you thinking about what is happening in today's time, and you really have to really look at that and say, sheesh, I do want to follow a podcast or a radio show or a TV show or a talk show that's encouraging me, that's motivating me, that's inspiring me. I do. I follow people all the time, and I unfollow people all the time, depending on what it is that I need. I love to laugh. I love to be encouraged and inspired and motivated. I like to keep up on what's going on, as they would say, keeping your ear to the ground. I keep my eyes to the media. I keep my ear to the radio or whatever. But if it's constantly negative, if it's constantly things that's going to make me be like, well, what in the lifetime special is happening here? Then I probably will unfollow. And you wouldn't care because I'm just one number. My one number ain't going to mean nothing. But every time I get a new follower, a new listener, I'm grateful. See, I don't care about the numbers. I have a saying before my podcast started being heard in other countries outside of the D, from my knowledge. You know, I was okay with it just being local because I'm TT from the D, but I talk about all kind of stuff all over the world, right? When I travel, I like to share and bring back positivity and good things, highlight. But I'm also going to share rude shit. So if I'm going somewhere and I'm being discriminated against, or I see someone else being discriminated against or treated unfair, I'm going to share it. You know why? You might say, well, that's contradicting yourself, TT, because you're saying, no, I don't want someone else to become a victim. So if we're going somewhere and it's clearly, blatantly racism, or the food quality is poor, or whatever, I'm going to want to warn you. I'm not going to go, see? I'm not going to pick and choose like, well, I don't want people. I'm not going to blast the people directly unless they just deserve to be blasted, like Darlene McCoy did. Thank you, Darlene McCoy, when she put that out there about going to that that restaurant that people said, oh my God, you got to go and check out and they got this amazing, I think it was a Philly cheesesteak or something like that. She went, and so she shared with us that when she got in, the guy was like, okay, what's your name? And she said, Darlene. And then she saw that it said Darky. And she's like, wait a minute. Why is Darky on there? That's not my name. And he tells her, oh yeah, don't worry about it. It's okay. That's just for me. You're saying Darky, like, you wonder. You have to wonder. Don't say, don't worry about it, that's for me. If my name is Darlene, and I'm a black woman, and obviously this person is not a black person, and you're telling me, don't worry about it, I'm gonna worry about it, because I'm trying to understand, if my name is Darlene and you're putting Darky, why'd you do that? And then the other part, she asked this man to please put her name on there and don't do that. And he was like, I'm not going to do that. And she's like, what? Then it went on to, well, you know what? Because I feel her. You putting Darky on there. And it's just like I heard and I saw in social media. Not heard from friends, family, or anybody else, but heard it through social media from someone who did a live, and they were saying it was a former worker of Crackle Barrel. I love Crackle Barrel, right? I love Crackle Barrel. But they said, yeah, we got codes. And it's kind of like they're going to know if you are an African-American person or not. And I felt like, well, damn. What does that mean? Does that mean that, I don't know, do something to our food? Give us food that's been sitting out? Scraped over food? I don't know. But it's scary and sad, because you never know. When a person's taking your order, they could be cheesing and greasing all in your face. But if they are prejudiced, or if they work with people that are prejudiced, you don't know what they're doing unless you are at a restaurant where you're cooking right there in your face, like a Benihana's, right? Like a Mongolian barbecue. You want to pick your own food. It's from the whole bin with everybody else. But I ain't gonna get too deep. I already did. I want you to have a wonderful weekend. This is leaving you food for thought and something to think about. It's your girl TT from the D. I hope you'll join us next week for a full week of great conversation on the Top of the Morning Show. I'll see you soon.